Hello folks, back again, and in the last clip, if you remember, that this piece I had a bit of problem flattening off the side. In actual fact, you know, it's optional really that you have to or need to do this flattening now. In any case, because you can paddle it when it is sort of soft leather hard, in any case with a paddle. So this one I've now finished off. This is the one that you saw me redo, and I've put these little make-believe pinched handles there on either side, and that's quite easily done. You just put a finger on the inside and you squeeze on the outside like that with your finger in the middle, and so that's waiting to be finished. When that's a little harder, I will finish paddling it. Meanwhile I do have these guys that you saw me throw yesterday or very recently, and they are now ready for trimming. So sometimes you'll find when you do a flat shape that the bottom sinks down, so before you trim it you want to put it down again, and if it has happened, push the bottom down, okay, like that. So now, as you remember, the little make-believe lugs, or so-called handles in inverted commas, of course they raised it up very slightly there, so I can't really put it face down on the wheel head because he's going to rock, isn't he? So the solution is, let's just make sure we are, yeah, let's just bring the camera in a touch here. Yeah, the solution, of course, is to use a chuck, isn't it? And so that's what I'm going to do. And you can throw yourself a simple chuck like this, and you can bisque fire it if you want to, and that'll enable you to use it more than once. Even if you weren't to fire it, you'd probably still be able to use it numerous times. Anyway, so we're going to put that on there, center him up, take our dish and put him upside down. Like that. So you should find that this dish is not at all stuck down. It could slew off to the left or the right, either way. But if you center it up and put some downward pressure there in the middle, you'll find that you should be okay. Now remember, I said to you that the last one of these that I did, I actually trimmed the foot rather narrow. As you can see, it is rather narrow, isn't it? So this one, I'm going to make sure. Let's take a measurement of this one, just so we don't go there. Yeah, it's exactly 4.5. Well, this one I'm probably going to make 5.5, I think. I may not actually put a foot on it as such. You see, a foot is not necessarily called for. That's what we call a pedestal type foot. But what I could do is just do an internal foot, an inside foot. You know, as an alternative. An inside foot like that would allow more clay here on the side, which would give more supporting kind of clay to the width of the dish. So lots of food for thought there, you see. Sometimes there's more than one way of doing things. And sometimes it's a case of trying both and then seeing which one you prefer. So now that is about 5.5, almost. Maybe you need to think about the time it takes to do something as well. Because you see, to do a foot like that is going to take me more time because I've got to cut away more clay here as well as cut out the center. So if I don't have to cut so much away here and expose a foot like this is here, it's going to save me a bit of time, isn't it? Time is money. So that's just another consideration, isn't it? So now I'm establishing there the width of the foot. That's not a bad idea to do that, so make sure you don't run over, you know. Let's get the camera a bit closer for a bit of detail. Okay, there we are. So basically want to cut, you see, the highest point. This should be, this portion here in the middle should be, I'm exaggerating, okay, but it should look like that, you see. In other words, that's the high point, and then it slopes down here, and that should be the deepest part of the cut there. Because that, you see, is going to mirror or reflect the inside shape of the bowl, or the plate. Okay, I'm just having a feel, because it's important to feel through the base to feel the thickness, because you don't want to leave this too thick in the base because it could crack. Now, of course, it is important when you recenter the piece up when you've already made a cut, that you get it back in center again, obviously, because otherwise your cut is going to go off. Okay, so now there you have two different kinds of feet. You can think to yourselves which one you think you prefer. The one in my left hand, this one that's finished, going to have more tendency for the side of the pot here to sag at this point here. Okay, and to sink in the firing, in the glaze firing, it'll have a tendency to sink. Okay, and there's not so much support clay here. Now this one is altogether wider, plus it's got more support clay here. On the other hand, this one is probably a little heavier than this one, you see, because it's got that a little bit extra more clay here in the side wall than that other one did that we trimmed away. Anyway, well, I like to put things back on the wheel the right way up, and if there's a case of very slightly smoothing over some places where the pot was face down on the wheel at some point, say in the drying process, then now is the time to do it. So the idea of this kind of dish, which I like, as I tried to explain yesterday, and that is that with a fork, you see, when you're eating, you can move the food to the side of the plate here, and you use the wall of the pot here, you see, to lift against, and the food will fall back onto your fork, and then you can eat it. So it's quite a practical little plate. I quite like it. Like this one, I've had lots of meals out of this one actually, and it works. It's functional. It works. It looks nice. I think it looks attractive, and it also it functions as a dish. So, and if you didn't want to eat out of it, you could always put vegetables in it, couldn't you? So there we are. What I've got to do now is just seal this, and then that will be done. La 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 la. Dee 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 dee. Let's pull back the camera because we've been in a bit close, haven't we? Yeah, we've been in a bit closer. So just going to seal that. Okie dokie. Well, there it is, folks. We've got a workshop this weekend. Probably too late now for anybody to come along, but we do have a couple of spaces as of today. So anyway, go to my website simonleachpottery.com and check it out. Check out the details. I got a couple more to do. I'll say goodbye. Keep practicing. See you soon. Bye bye. Dee, 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 dee.